LONGBOX CRUSADE presents Transformers Chronicles.
Hello and welcome back to Transformers Chronicles. I am Delvin, aka The Dark Web. And in case you're new to the show, welcome. And let me tell you what this thing is all about. We're going for a wild, crazy ride, chronicling an awesome, wacky, and sometimes dystopian future world of Marvel Comics, The Transformers. But I will not be going at it alone. Who do we have here today? Today, we have the founder of the LONGBOX CRUSADE, the acolyte to the Transformers world, the seeker of the Matrix of Knowledge. His name is Pat Sampson, sometimes known as DJ Cristados, if you're cool like that. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Hey, Delvin. I am cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. And as cool as I am, I'm hip to the kids these days. So, I'm thinking my rating on this is going to be maybe 6, 7.
I wish that I didn't know what you meant by that, but it went from I don't know what this means, and then I looked up what it meant, and then it got stuck in my head. So I don't even have kids. I don't need to know this knowledge. And yet I do. So, well, thanks for that, Pat. It keeps me young.
It does.
It keeps you young too.
It does.
Like you do have kids, right? I don't think you've ever told us that.
I pretend I do. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. It's good to pretend sometimes. Let's not pretend is that we have the lesser half of Married with Comics. Wait, we're not Married with Comics anymore. It's Married with Content. I used your old name. I apologize for that. I'm so sorry. I got so excited that he is back that I reverted to old habits. Anyway,
that's all right.
It's the librarian to the show. His name is John Haynes. Welcome to the show, John.
Yeah, I should tell you about speaking of names, I may appear to be John, but as you notice, I might look a bit more advanced and from the future, so you can call me GALVATRON today. And that's pretty good fun. I was going to ask him to remind me what comic it is that we cover here on this this podcast, because it's been a couple of minutes since either of the Schaefer-Haynes clan has been able to make an appearance, so it is great to be here, Dalvin. Hello.
It's good to have you, John. You guys missed some good ones,
Yeah,
I know
we did, but I'm glad we came back with this one. But we did miss some good ones.
Yeah. Well, you say that, Maggie. I heard that. Well, there might be something. I haven't introduced you. So forget I said that. Forget I said, hold a hole at that too. So before I introduce the greater half of Married with Content, her name is Maggie Schaefer-Haynes. Welcome to the show, Maggie.
Woohoo! Thank you. Happy to be here. For the listening audience, I've been recovering from surgery for the past few weeks. And to keep myself from going absolutely insane, I've been doing a lot of crocheting. And I think what I'd like to get out there into the general podcasty sphere is if you're a guy and you like to paint or wood carve or sew or embroider or crochet, I've seen stories about veterans that crochet things to help with their anxiety. Go and do it. Make yourself happy.
Your house will be full of chicken.
I've been making a lot of chickens.
But
I've been watching the Great Pottery Throwdown, and one of the judges on there, he cries in every episode because of how wonderful everyone does. And I think we need more of that. So I'm using this time to stand on my soapbox and say, if you're a man and you think you want to do something that is traditionally girly, do it and make yourself happy.
Well, there's sometimes, Maggie, where I was like, hey, do you have anything? You're like, no. So I appreciate that this time that you had something to say. And I absolutely agree with you. Life's short. If there's something that you want to do and you think it's going to bring you pleasure and it's not hurting anyone else, do it. How the heck?
For real. Don't get bogged down in traditional gender roles and stuff. Go make yourself happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. I guess I should ask myself if I've done anything. No, I had a good holiday season. I took a couple weeks off work. I went back to Birmingham to spend some time with my folks. Spent some quality time with my mom. My stepdad got to see my brother, got to work out with him a little bit too, and even got to see an old college buddy. I hadn't seen him in about 5 years, Scott Atkinson. I don't know if Scott listens to the show, but hello, Scott. And my wife, I met Scott my second year of college at Auburn, at a time where I thought that I had already made all of the friends that I needed to make. And so I turned out Scott and another group of friends and that I made that second year. And for whatever reason, I have been married for 13 years and my wife had not met any of those group of friends, which just strikes me as ridiculously bizarre, but that wound up getting fixed. So that made me happy too. And everyone liked each other and that made me even happier. So bunch of happiness all around. Good times. We got the whole crew here. So you're getting the full Transformers Chronicles experience here, and for all for free, by the way, just listen to us and, and go and tell us that we're great, in the feedback portion of it. Anyway, the purpose of this podcast will be tackling all of Marvel's Transformers comics in order, starting with issue 1 and working our way to the series end at issue 80. We will answer any questions that are brought up to the best of our ability and see how these books we loved then as a kid hold up to our eyes as an adult now. This podcast is guaranteed to be, you guessed it, more than meets the eye. So Pat, John, Maggie, let's see what happens when did I say hi, Maggie? You know what? It's never too late to say hi, Maggie. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Delvin.
Let's see what happens when the Decepticons win it all, right after the promo break.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Hey everybody, Clinton Robinson here. I recently attempted to sneak into the LONGBOX CRUSADE headquarters basement to watch some of the Albrecht Brothers action movies while the crew was out at the Saturday matinee theater. Too bad I had a little mishap and got stuck down here, with no movies to boot. However, there are pieces of Pat's old podcasting equipment and excellent Wi-Fi service, so I decided to pass the time watching online fan films and talking about them. What, you don't know what a fan film is? Well, there are these non-theatrical movies that people post online of already established characters and settings. Ooh. Hey now. Just wait and see. Save all judgment for what happens when you listen to Fan Film Fridays, a new podcast found on the LONGBOX CRUSADE podcast feed.
We now return to the Transformers.
Welcome back. The issue we will be covering today is Transformers issue 67. And here's Maggie with the cover description.
Thank you, Delvin. Blazoned across the top of the cover, we have the Transformers logo in stark white, outlined in a dark blue. In the upper left-hand corner, we've got Optimus Prime snuggled up with his Marvel Comics logo. We also have the Comics Code Authority, which I always love seeing on a comic book. It just makes me giggle. Looks like this would have cost you $1 in the US and $1.25 in Canada. The picture is what we're really here for. Mm-hmm. We have a massive Galvatron in the center of the cover with this black and red sort of abstract background while the Earth explodes behind him. And he stands triumphant, giving a barbaric yop to the universe as planet Earth is destroyed. We have 2 text boxes. One says, "The war is over," and the other says, "And the Decepticons have won."
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much for that, Maggie. Let's see. Pat. Let's go with Pat. Pat, what do you think about the cover?
I like it. I mean, just the drawing of Galvatron alone is well done, but then you get the Earth and it's yellowy, orangey kind of destruction. It looks like it's being destroyed, along with whatever is kind of radiating off of that in the red behind Galvatron. Just makes this cover really pop, and I really like it.
Yeah, I like it too. The Galvatron looks beefy. He's sitting there I don't know. He did not skip leg day, on Cybertron or on Planet Unicron. I don't know. And the cannon's looking cool and everything, and the chest plate's looking broad and distinctive too. and he is just looking, as happy as a pig in slop. So yeah, I like the cover too. Like the background makes it just look even more stark. He has like pretty powerful colors, that purple and like the gray going on. So he's looking powerful. And that big explosion behind him, like you just know he had to cause it because he's reveling in it. He looks so happy. So yeah, I like the cover too. It's a great image. John, what do you think?
Well, not to launch into hyperbole here, but this is in my top 3 Transformers covers of any comic series. It's 5, and this one, and one from IDW that features Fortress Maximus and Unicron. Those are the 3. I don't, in whatever particular order, it varies from time to time, but I love this cover. This cover is it's just screams Transformers to me. There is no way anyone with just even a minor knowledge and interest in Transformers would walk by a spinner rack and see this and not pick this up immediately. Because what do you think? First of all, and if you had any sort of knowledge of this series, you're like, wait a minute, Galvatron? Hang on. This has everything a cover wants. It's got something that tells you exactly what's going on in here. It's got a mystery that you want to find out. It doesn't even begin to show you what you're going to get when you're in here, but it's definitely what brought you into it. And it kind of just carries you the whole way through the story. So again, love this one.
Nice. Maggie, take it home.
Yeah, I think it's a very striking cover. I think if you were a fan of the Transformers, you wouldn't by any means walk by that and not pick it up. The only quibble that I have is that it gets a little dark and muddled at the top of Galvatron, like his shoulders and his arms and kind of by his face. I don't know if that's the inking maybe that got a little heavy. So it looks really dark. But aside from that, it's a very, I keep wanting to say volatile, and that's not the word I want to use.
I have seen, and I don't remember where or why, but I've seen just a penciled version of this.
Ah, yes.
And it's definitely that.
Is he a little more
very much so. It's gorgeous.
Defined.
It's an unfortunate thing, and I don't know if it's the colors or the inking, but you're right. It just kind of blends it all together.
Yeah.
But even with that,
there's a huge, I don't know why volatile, it must be another V word I'm trying to come up with. There's a lot of it kind of action, it's a very powerful. You've got red and black, which are very red at least is a very aggressive color. You've got an exploding Earth in this big triumphant, gigantic Galvatron. It's a lot to take in. It's a great cover.
I think if they would have done in that red area, the space, I guess, if they wouldn't have done black, maybe a different color.
Right.
Yeah, he would have.
I think you're right. It blends into that.
See, if you're a lighter color, though, you wouldn't pay attention to the planet that's being destroyed behind them. I think they wanted to draw your attention to that. But I agree, Galvatron is a little bit dark up around the neck and shoulders. But as we all seem to agree, it's one striking image.
Yeah.
So with that, we should rate the cover 1 to 10, like tech specs of old. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, to describe what we think about the cover. We'll go in reverse order. Let's go with Maggie. Maggie, what would you rate the cover to Transformers 67?
I'm going to give it a solid 9. I'm going to dock it just 1 point for the darkness that kind of makes his face a little hard to look at. But aside from that, solid 9.
Solid 9 it is. We're reversing, and I'm waiting for John's inevitability here.
Oh, yeah, with that, I got to give it a 10. I'm not going to dock it on that. It's something I would probably normally, but I think just the overall quality of it makes it the point that I really don't dock anything for that. It's just too good for me. So 10.
Fair.
It is a quality artist who did it, but we'll let Pat get to that in a second. I'm at a 9 as well. I do think it's slightly dark, but I can't fault the image at all. And I agree with John entirely when he says, if you're a Transformers fan and you even read any of the comic and you looked and saw Galvatron was on the cover, you're like, what in the heck is going on? Maybe I need to just pick this up again and see what's going on. So very, very, very good cover. 9 from me and Pat.
Well, I'm going to be with you and Maggie on 9 Island. So 3 cool peoples on 9 Island. And I think Now, I will be saying who did the cover art on this, and looking at it, then you're like, okay, yeah, I can definitely tell that this artist who did this cover, that's his artwork on it.
This is yet another
style.
This is yet another one like, the cover this artist did. I think he did Transformers 54, if I'm not mistaken, that I would love to bring to him one day. And like, of course, at this point, he might be like, ask him for his autographs, like that'll be $10,000. Like, you know what? I'm going to pass on that. In any event, let's go to Pat with the credits for this issue.
All right. Thanks, Devin. We are covering Transformers issue number 67. Its on sale date was April 24th of 1990. Its cover date was June 1990. The cover price is $1. Story is by Simon Furman. The penciler is Jose Delbo. Inker is Danny Bulanati. And colorist is Nelson Yamtov. Letters go to Jim Massara. Editor is Don Daly. Cover credits is Jim Lee. So it's
no
a Jim
kidding.
Lee cover. Wow.
I guess I have a favorite Jim Lee cover that I didn't know.
You didn't know that was a Jim Lee cover?
I didn't know this was Jim Lee cover. I knew the other one was a Jim Lee cover, but I didn't know that.
Who's Jim Lee?
Don't say it. On a comics podcast.
Okay, sorry.
It's
just not a name I recognize. Sorry.
I don't know what to do with it.
I wasn't raised right.
I'm not the hugest Jim Lee fan. I have nothing against the guy, but I don't go gaga over his art like a lot of you. He did a lot of X-Men stuff and then a lot of Image stuff.
Okay.
And then now he's
DC. Maggie, Jim Lee, I won't say he defined the X-Men, like, because if there's anyone who defined the X-Men besides, the obviously the creators, I'd say probably John Byrne did.
Oh yeah.
And X-Men was always blessed with good artists. And Jim Lee just came along and was just like, he just blew everyone's doors off.
He was one of those 90s artists who did it in a different way, along with McFarlane and Liefeld and those guys.
But it come from that era.
Yeah, quality stuff. Pat, we completely interrupted the reading.
Sorry.
Of your keep going.
Okay. This is all brought to you by Mike's Amazing World and tfwiki.net. Back to you, Delvin.
Thank you, Pat. And before we get to the synopsis, I can't even help mentioning Jim Lee and not thinking of like that Magneto cover from X-Men 1 where he just has like just his hand, like, oh my goodness, freaking iconic. That is the first thing I think of when I think of Jim Lee. The man could just draw some freaking X-Men and literally everything else, but especially X-Men. Let's get to the synopsis.
It is a world transformed, where things are not what they seem. It is the world of the Transformers.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons.
The Transformers from Marvel Comics.
The title of this issue was Rhythms of Darkness. At the end of last episode's synopsis, I asked, what does that mean for the future? And it looks like Simon and company took that personally. The year's 2009, and the Decepticons, with an assist from Unicron, have won the war. Being the benevolent agent of chaos that he is, Unicron left planet Earth behind for the Decepticons to have their way with, and we all know what that means, right? In case you don't know what that means, it means that the Decepticons get to plunder and pillage whatever they want, and if you get in the way, you wind up like Rodimus Prime did, not alive. Things are so bad across North and South America that the rest of the world is prepared to nuke both continents unless they show some kind of resistance to the Galvatron-led Decepticon contingent. All that's left of that resistance is a handful of human beings in New York City and only 7 Autobots. Their plan is to invade the Decepticon power base and plant their secret weapon. Coming to grips with their own mortality, the Autobots launch into action, and while there are some casualties, the secret weapon to show the rest of the world that they are still fighting is unfurled, an American flag flying in the Decepticon stronghold. Galvatron? Not impressed. And as he is about to blast both the flag and Spike Witwicky into oblivion, hook, line, and sinker show up from the timeline that we all know. they quickly incapacitate a very confused Galvatron, and they all shunt back into the past. That story remains to be told, but the 2009 Resistance just got an incredible mulligan with Galvatron off the board. Let's talk about it. Highs, lows, what does John? I know you said this is basically one of your favorite books, so you should go first. What would you like to discuss?
Oh, let's where to start? Let's start with the first 3 pages. With the opening sequence in this is something else. That the emergence of Galvatron from the water, him like triumphantly like rising up, and then turning the page, and that double page splash of the destruction of New York City, of Manhattan Island, like that. That I spent so long just looking at those 3 pages over and over again. That is some epic stuff. And kudos to Mr. Delbo here.
And I guess Mr. Bulinati as well, since knowing Jared, if he were here, he'd talk about the ink work and how that probably was not fun for the inker.
No, and I was going to say the ink work is managing to do what was to avoid doing with the cover, what the issues with the cover with. The ink work does not interfere with any of the line work here at all. I mean, it is so much good shadowing in all of those little windows. This poor guy.
Yeah.
But that's my first thing I noticed.
Yeah, it was a good beginning because first, that emergence of Galvatron from the water, they're already establishing him as this ominous threat. He's built like a strong man almost to me. And like even just how he comes out of the water with like chest forward, like you can tell it's conveying confidence. And also, like, just obviously a little bit of a bully, too. Not a little bit. Like, he is very much a bully. But, like, yeah. And then when you flip the page and see that New York has been absolutely decimated. That is one heck of an image. Pat, what do you have? You don't have to talk about that. You can talk about something else if you like.
I do want to just kind of spin off of what Galvatron was saying. I looking at that double page spread there, I looked across it, and then in one corner, the upper left corner, you can see him and his cronies kind of coming out of the pier area there, and then you pan over through it. I had to do a double take through the rubble and the carnage of it all. When you see the towers, I'm assuming those are bigger buildings or the towers. Yeah, and then in between the towers is the Rodimus Prime sitting there, right?
Ah, yeah, scale kind of falls apart right there, doesn't it?
No, I actually think it adds to the scale.
It took a while. I'm like, wait a minute, is that a figure? And then that's a robot. I was like, that's somebody there.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I'm like, wow, I'm like, what's going on here?
I didn't even really notice the Decepticons coming out of the harbor like that too.
Well, he's monologuing the whole time.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny too. That's a funny part too. Is like, what's he doing? Well, you know him. He's
I love that.
Crazy.
Who's he talking about? Himself.
It's like, oh, did I just say that out loud? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he said that, and then Galvatron's like, "What? What's that? What? You got something to say? Like, none of you mean anything to me. I will just destroy you." Like, thanks, boss.
Yeah. Can you imagine what that's like? You're going, I can't believe we won, and we've got this complete and utter lunatic in charge, ruining the Western Hemisphere for everybody. Oh,
so I have a question. Since I have yet to read,
too.
Okay, I have yet to read the IDW comic books, and I know that in the Transformers Spotlight, we'll get a little spoiler in a few minutes. John's going to be reading all about Galvatron. Is Galvatron portrayed like this in IDW?
Not really. The short answer is sometimes. I think it's probably best we leave this for the Spotlight. I cover his various personality things throughout.
Okay,
but in general, not really. I think the closest that this personality is to the cartoon season, the G1 cartoon season 3 is what this is supposed to be, because that Galvatron was nuts. He had been damaged after Unicron and then fell into some lava on Char and never quite recovered. And so his whole personality was erratic and was constantly blowing up his own people.
Yeah, there was something about this Galvatron I just flat out didn't like. I thought that he was just like, he was a danger to everyone.
Yeah.
You couldn't, even if you were on his side, you were not safe from his wrath. And it was just like, goodness. That wouldn't even be, I would not want to be around him. I'm almost surprised that someone, even as powerful as he is, that they didn't rally and try and topple him based off of how he acted in this issue alone.
And the whole idea is this Galvatron, there isn't an Autobot on the planet that could take him. I mean, it's
clearly.
Furman uses Galvatron a different Galvatron from the future in the UK ones, has him come from the future to the present, and he beats everybody. The whole point is Unicron made him so much more powerful than any other Decepticon that they just couldn't stop him. The only thing that could stop him was the Matrix being opened properly, and for whatever reason, in this continuity, it seems that Hot Rod wasn't able to do that, or he didn't think to, or it didn't work because he's clearly been defeated, to the point of being used as a trophy there for him. But he seems to have maintained his strength and his power because because I think even Optimus Prime couldn't take him. Ultra Magnus couldn't, all of that. So I think that's basically what we're looking at.
Gotcha. Maggie, what do you have for the book?
My biggest takeaway, I think, from this one, and I feel like I said this the last time I was on, but that was years ago.
Last year, anyway.
See, this is why I shouldn't quip, because then I forget what I was actually going to say. Simon Furman's writing has a certain kind of sophistication to it that we haven't had in Transformers previous to him, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's a different kind of writing. I'm not saying that the previous writing was subpar. It was just different. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if any of that was because this was 1990. When was issue 1? What year was that again?
84.
So 6 years. So you've got kids that would have picked this up the first issue when they were 10 are now 16. And I wonder if Simon Furman was trying to age up the Transformers a little bit for the audience, maybe just to give older kids something to sink their teeth into, or maybe that's just his style. But it's kind of a savage story. Galvatron is nuts and basically just pure mustache twirling evil. Lots of deaths going on, lots of sacrifice, big dramatic speeches by the humans to try to appeal to the humanity of the Autobots, to try to stick around and save Earth. I will give Lisa props for her thing, though. She made a really good point in her argument to Prowl and whoever else was in that scene. But it's just a different level of writing. And I enjoyed the story. Even though Galvatron he's hard to like as a bad guy because he's just so crazy, but I still thought it was an entertaining, well done story.
I absolutely loved Lisa's spiel there, because she was right.
She's 100% right.
Yeah, you had folks that died. We had folks that died. And by the way, we didn't freaking ask y'all to come here. Now you want to?
Yes.
They're continually forgetting that.
They seem
wherever
to
they
not
are.
remember that they came to the planet and brought their baggage with them. I mean,
it's highly possible at this point, because in the not even the I see both sides thing, but the I get it with the Autobots. They're like, we can't stop this dude.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know why we're alive. Let's just run away. This sucks. I couldn't. You couldn't blame either of them. Ultimately, I would have to side with Lisa, because it's okay, if you do nothing, you're going to die in a nuclear fire.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should try to do something, because if you don't, you already know the consequences that are coming.
But I do think that introducing the concept of a meaningful death in a kid's comic is pretty heavy stuff.
I agree.
The idea is kind of if we're going to die, let's at least have our deaths have meaning. And that's a pretty adult kind of idea. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. He doesn't, And I feel like British writers and media don't tend to talk down as much to their child audiences as much as Americans do. We tend to simplify a lot of things for our kids' stuff. Britain doesn't do that as much.
No,
like they even did that in Pokemon, where they would erase whole words because American kids don't like to read. So I wonder if there's some of that in there too.
I think you're right about that. Although Budiansky's run did not shy away from things like heroic sacrifice.
No, Spanner.
All like Scrounge. I'm thinking of, for example, that they did do that. But you're absolutely right. Going back to his time in the UK books, he was definitely writing with I guess sophisticated would be the term, but neither of us mean to diminish Budiansky, and it's obvious we're not. But his style became the style in which allowed for the IDW universe to exist. Those were written by people who grew up fans of this guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it is definitely, he sets the whole ravaged, war-torn nature of this, and I could say that this issue might be one of the first where it really,
because that's almost like MASH with robots,
right? And because IDW, both phases 1 and 2 through 3, they really do tend to try to focus on the immensity of this war, just the huge amount of time that it's lasted, the totality, the immensity of just the scope of it, of what Megatron's planning. Megatron's plan with this war is to conquer the universe. That's his plan. That's what Megatron wants to do. He wants to conquer the universe because they're immortal and he's got time. That's nuts.
Pat,
you wanted to add something. What was it?
As you guys are talking, it's getting me thinking that I think when Furman takes over, they're no longer trying to sell toys, right?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
That's the way I'm feeling as I'm reading through. It's like, okay, let's just tell some good story here now that we got these characters built now, and let's take them to the next level and and not try to sell toys. But I had a question earlier on with Galvatron, since this is our first time. Where is he in the toy line? Did he just come out? Has he been out for a while? Is that something you're going to cover later on?
I will cover it, but I can say that here. It's he had been out. The toy was put up during the movie. He was a movie.
Okay, so he's been out since the movie then. So now they're just kind of bringing him into the fold a little bit more. Then, so then maybe that's right. Then maybe they're not trying to sell.
No, it's not a matter of. They really weren't making too many more toys by this point. They might have been done. They're very close to the point where Transformers aren't really selling toys anymore. Everybody's buying Ninja Turtles at this point and about to be buying Power Rangers stuff. And Transformers and G.I. Joe are going the way that He-Man had already gone at this. But that gives what?
Sorry, go ahead.
But that gives Furman, as you said, the opportunity to be able to just tell stories about characters.
I was going to say that makes a good point where you can stop treating the characters in the comics like toys in the comics and treat them like characters.
Yeah.
Yep. Good points all. And let's see, Pat, if you want to start us off with something else that you got from the book.
Well, the other thing I want to mention is, and you guys were kind of talking about it, is how I want to say crazy this guy is. The Galvatron is. And I think he's more crazy than Thunderwing was, and we just saw what Thunderwing went through. Now you have this guy who's like 10 times more all about himself and all about power. And if you're going to talk back to him, you're going to, you're either going to get blasted or something is going to happen to you that you really don't want. So I think,
with Thunderwing, you got a backhand. You know, with Galvatron, he will murder you. And so the difference seems to be that I hate to use the word, but there was a nobility of sorts with Thunderwing. And with Galvatron, Galvatron is just full megalomaniac. Like he was given all of that power and again, to use the word a little bit loosely, with Megatron, it's not that, yes, he does want to conquer the universe. The reason why he wants to conquer the universe is because he feels that he can run it best. and that it's and that there is a peace that can be achieved with him reigning over everything.
He's got
Through
business
tyranny.
sense, right?
Right.
Yeah,
And
peace through tyranny.
And that's the point. I mean, it's a crazy plan, but at least it's a plan, and he has a vision. Galvatron doesn't have a vision.
Galvatron is destroy everything. If you're in my way, I will destroy you. If I like you, I might destroy you. If I hate you, I'm definitely destroying you. There's a theme here. It's destroying you.
It's lawful evil, and Galvatron is definitely chaotic evil.
Chaotic evil, yeah.
Yeah.
Megatron's neutral evil.
He cray.
Yeah.
He's the
cray.
He's the crayest of cray. And
Some might say he's Galvacray.
Oh, goodness.
Hey.
And I would say that, like, I'm just glad they didn't put in this book that Grimlock tried to fight him, because we all know how that would go.
In this book? Well, I don't know. The last time we saw him, he actually won a fight, so maybe he'll be inspired. He headbutted Bludgeon like that. That was.
Oh, well, see, like, but you
got his butt.
Yeah.
By
right.
Thunderwing.
I forgot Thor tore him to shreds, didn't he?
Thunderwing on Planet Cameron, which was absolutely an alien / aliens winking a nod. But let's see. John, is there something else that you wanted to bring up in the book?
I just wanted to mention how cool it is to see Jazz and Prowl doing stuff. We have not seen either of those in this comic in a long time. And for me, it's been a long time since I've seen Prowl as anybody besides a brainwashed evil person as part of Shockwave's or part of Megatron's secret plan in IDW Phase 2. Spoilers for us if we ever get back to that. Yeah. But one thing I did want to mention also quick was on content page 24 in the scene where Galvatron's taken out Jazz, and you see it looks where he's falling out. That panel is an homage to a previous Transformers panel, and I cannot remember what it is from, unless I'm just making this up. Anthony probably would know. So, but if I remember, I'll ask him.
Now that you say that, I know what you're talking about, and it's not going to come to me.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? It's with it's the torso, that pose. Like that, and that pose, and the triumphant. And I want to say it was Megatron in the Galvatron pose, but I'll have to go through some.
And Ratchet.
It seems like maybe
it was Megatron and Ratchet. It was like it was either way back in the day, or like when what Simon Furman wrote, like when he just came onto the book. It was one of those.
I think you are right there, but it's nice to see. It's actually just cool to see Galvatron color wise, and something that appears to be a coloring error, but isn't as much so. Galvatron's colors in this are reversed from his cartoon and usual other appearances, but are that of the original toy. The toy's colors are reversed. He's primarily gray with the purple trim, whereas in almost any other depiction, it's the other way around. He's mostly purple with gray trim.
Is that because purple's a bad guy color?
Yes.
Weird.
Yeah. And also like a regal color as well. But like I read somewhere like the color purple like literally conveys power. And so it's fitting that, Galvatron would have like, be draped in purple, because he absolutely is one of the most powerful Transformers ever created.
Yeah.
Let's see. Was there anything else to bring up? It was kind of a straightforward story, and at the end of it, go ahead, Pat.
I was going to say, I like that we see Buster.
Or Spike, isn't it?
Or Spike, yeah. Spike, not Buster.
I thought it was Was it Buster? It was Buster.
It was Buster.
Buster? Did he grow up with a perm like?
Well,
he did.
I could have sworn it said Spike Witwicky.
It is Spike. You're right.
It's Spike. Yeah.
So apparently, in this universe, he also had the perm, unlike the brown hair that he had in the movie, which is why they lost.
Yeah, I was going to say his hair wasn't that color. Maybe he dyed it.
Yeah. I mean, this is an alternate timeline. Maybe like right as the war was kicking off, he was like in a rebellious phase. Like Eminem type phase, and just.
He had just been cast in the reboot of Greatest American Hero.
That's kind of weird.
but then the Decepticons attacked, and that's why he's attacked.
Yeah.
One other quick
And probably it's hard to get any, health and beauty aid stuff going on.
Oh, there's no peroxide
yeah,
there at all. You gotta know it.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure all the barbershops are probably closed on account of everyone not living.
Yeah.
Kind of everyone being dead.
Oh, also, one thing quick, because I will forget this. Inferno's in this one. This is the only comic that Inferno's in, and Simon Furman put him in because in 14, when the other toys of his particular release line came out, that was in 14 when they had just activated all of the ones and took them out to listen to Rick Springstern.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Inferno was with those, but he did not appear.
Okay.
He was, it was Grapple and Hoist and a couple of those other ones.
Yeah.
Inferno's toy was released at the same time. It was a toy very similar to Grapple's.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they didn't have him in the comic, and he never showed up, although he did appear once in a UK comic with no explanation. But in this, Furman was aware of that because they had been hearing about it in letters columns for eons. And so he threw him in here. Just that, fine,
Here
Inferno. Good.
Amongst the dead.
Which is good. No,
Is
he's
he a good guy or a
alive.
bad guy?
He makes it to the end, which is good because the first thing they're going to need to do when they get everything calmed down is to put all those fires and get the cats out of the trees.
Why did this issue start with a jump to the year after I graduated high school, so far in the future of 2009?
Well, bless your heart for graduating in
2008.
But
why did you have to do that?
So here is what you missed in the Matrix Quest. The Matrix Quest ended with Thunderwing in control of the Matrix. And the Autobots, in order to stop him from killing them all, had to basically jettison him out of the Ark and explode him with this ship with the Matrix. So in that same book, like Unicron is sensing all of this, is like, kind of like there's a disturbance in the Force. I see that something's going on with the Matrix, but I want to throw an insurance policy in the way to further complicate matters before I want things as easy as possible when I get to Cybertron, so I can just go munch. And so one of the planets that he took out on his way there, because, he's the Chaos Bringer, he's eating planets. He destroyed the planet. There's an escape craft that he destroyed, and there are three hardened criminals that had escaped. He rebirthed them into Hook, Line, and Sinker, the three people that you see at the end of this book.
Gotcha,
and he charged them with finding a vassal of chaos anywhere in the time stream for him to use in order to foil and complicate the Autobots' plans with the Matrix even more. That's why we have this book.
So this is kind of setting up something in the future, because otherwise it seems like a very strange, depressing standalone story that starts with like a random time jump and then ends with it kind of not meaning anything because Galvatron gets yanked away to a different time anyways.
So
it does leave this alternative Earth, though, with the humans and the Autobots rallying.
It's to remind us that however bad we think things get, things have been bad, even in our own lifetimes. Remember, in 2009, the entire city of New York was wiped out.
Well, it was an alternate timeline, though, and that's the important thing to remember.
Well, Romney
because one of the things that one of them, Hook, Line, or Sinker, says, because Galvatron's like, what the heck are you talking about? Unicron wants me. Unicron gave me this planet. And then they said different Unicron. Conk.
Not the guy you're thinking of.
That was the only explanation we used to get about multiverse and ultimate timeline. We were all right with that.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Okay. Right.
Yep.
So I get away for the future.
Yeah, it's all adding up to something. And I'll even tell you what it's adding up to, sort of. It's adding up to issue 75. 75 is big magnum opus of the entire Transformers run. There's 5 more issues after that, which are good, but 75 is it.
Okay. Cool.
And Simon is building up his cast of characters for that play. And one of them that he needed was Galvatron.
Galvatron. Okay. So he's getting all his little tin soldiers all set up.
Putting all the pieces on the chessboard, as it were.
Cool.
I feel that we have covered the book, but are there any saved rounds going on? That's a military term, but I think you guys can pick up on what it means.
No, I think we covered it pretty good.
Okay. John, Maggie.
Saved round. That was Indiana Jones's sidekick in the second Indiana Jones movie.
Different guy.
Short round.
Oh, gotcha.
Different guy.
No, then no.
And Jared will hear this and is very proud that I picked up a Indiana Jones reference. Now is the time for us to talk about Who Had the Touch, where we talk about which characters stood out in the book. Autobot, Decepticon, human. We could actually pick a human this time. There were humans in the book. Anyone want to go first? I've started with each of us. Maggie looks like she wants to go first.
Yeah, because I'm going to take the easy one. I'm going to give it to Lisa because she makes an impassioned speech to the Autobots, which kind of ends up working. It does end up working. They go through with their plan. They have their little secret weapon that they're going to use if they can get into the base. And I think, the story would have gone very differently if she hadn't kind of lost her cool and had done that. So I'm going to give, I was almost going to say best in show. That's not what it is. More than meets the eye to the human Lisa.
Okay. Pat, you look like you wanted to go next. Was I right on that instinct?
I was just going to agree with Maggie. It's either was going to be her or Spike, just kind of giving that human aspect of, hey, we're here to, save the planet, or at least do our best and try to do what we can. One last shot. Let's do it. It's odd that they actually had to have the humans do that instead of these big brooding Autobots. You got the smallest of an ant just saying, hey, no, we got to fight for this planet that we're on. And,
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Maggie.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to tack on that I loved that moment with Spike where he kind of turns into Humphrey Bogart a little bit when he's talking to Lisa and he's like, yeah, maybe in another time, in another place, we could have had something. But right now, we got to go. I was like getting real bogey vibes from him. I'm like, wow, Spike grew up.
Yeah, I mean, being in a war can force you to grow up, So, yeah, kudos to them. Maybe they can go off and make some post-apocalyptic babies. now that Galvatron's off the table, Galvatron's off the table and Cyclonus, those are two powerful Decepticons, so maybe they can reclaim Earth or North and South America slowly, surely. John, who had the touch to you?
Looking through, Lisa's a good choice there. I'm going to give it just to, what's his name? Crossblades, apparently. He's the guy, because I always appreciate when somebody gets shot down.
Yeah,
and
sacrifice.
Make it down to make sure that their death counts.
Yeah,
in a military story. It's always a pump up version. And that actually is the turning point of the entire thing.
Yeah, he
knocks it down. And then that combined with Inferno taking some cues from Cosmos and being the killer here. He gets some
kills and kills.
He gets a couple of confirmed deaths here, so he gets the honorable mention, but I'll give it to that guy.
Sneaky little laser beak.
Yeah, Laserbeak came in. You know what? I'll give it to Laserbeak for the heck of it. Like one because he came and immediately disabled Crosshairs, and two, apparently Laserbeak can talk in 2009, and so that surprised me.
True.
Does Laserbeak not talk?
Not since the original miniseries.
Ravage and Rumble and the other one talk.
Ravage
talk. Yeah.
And he doesn't talk now. He'll talk again he talks in different continuities.
Yeah, Rumble and Frenzy would talk, but Buzzsaw and Laserbeak and Ravage never did. They just made animal noises.
They talk in the first 4 issues a lot. Ravage never shuts up, basically. But since then,
I actually want to make a quick switch because I just happened to flip to the page. Like they had come up with a plan, and it was like it was going to be sneaky and intricate and elaborate. And Getaway heard Cyclonus and Scourge talking and was like, to hell with this plan. Like, it's like no more running, no more hiding. Cyclonus Scourge, this is where you get yours.
Oh, there that is.
Some with a tree. Like I loved it. He was just like, if I'm going out, I am going out like a freaking warrior, and just took on two of the most powerful Decepticons by himself. So I'll switch it to Getaway because I really, really appreciated his moxie on that, even though it did blow up their entire plan. But he's like, no, you know what? Screw this. You were like, you're gonna see how it feels to be hunted for freaking once. So
I need to punch you in the face is more important than the plan.
Yeah, in that case, it was. Like, I think Getaway. Yeah, Getaway probably like, you know, like it saw him like sort of laying, and he may have like died in the battle. I don't know, but you know his last few freaking seconds, he was like, worth it. All right, and we talked about the touch, then someone had to be out of touch. We talked about the character that was the worst in the book and should just hang there, looking all dumb, not doing anything. In the segment called Less Than Meets the Eye. John, is there anyone in the book who is less than meets the eye to you?
Well, there was the guy you mentioned, but there is you kind of got to give it to Rodimus in here, man. He's, for all the Rodimus haters, they get their little aha moment.
He's dead.
Yes.
Or is he actually dead?
Oh, yeah, he's very dead.
Okay, because Galvatron does go and shoot him again because he's insane. But the face on Rodimus, or is it Rodimus now? Yeah. Almost looked like he was experiencing pain, but he must be dead.
Right.
Well, if he wasn't dead, he wasn't happy.
Yeah. That's true. If just to give somebody else someone easy to pick, I'm going to pick Cyclonus. The poor guy. Cyclonus is like my favorite of the bad guys in that era. His toy is cool. His design is cool. He got to do good things and managed to get, and then gets blown up by his crazy leader that he remains loyal to at all times.
Yeah, that was rough. Bad day for Cyclonus.
Good for him. Although he has both of his horns.
He does have two horns.
He's missing a horn in phase 2.
Yeah, his storyline in the IDW phase 2 books is
messed up.
Rough. Yeah.
I'm really, y'all gonna have to get me some bead on those books. I just recently, since we're talking things Transformers, I ordered all of Generation 2 except for issue 12 because that was too damn expensive. And
that was right.
And I ordered Transformers 80.5, which was the bridge between that and Regeneration 1 as well. Just maybe for some future reading. But let me know about if there's a beat on the IDW, because one day I really would like to read those comics. Yeah. Anyway, Pat, who was less than meets the eye to you?
A couple good choices already. I'm going to go with a wild fly and his mouth.
And then was he the one that wound up getting killed?
No, he wasn't. Ice Pick or somebody got killed.
Yeah, you're right. It was Ice Pick. You nailed it, Pat.
Ooh, look at me. I'm knowing my Transformer guys.
Yeah, dude almost got me. Even though he got a good one in, he said, I call it a few diodes short of a circuit board. John, who was less than meets the eye to you?
I think I said so. What is it?
I think it's my turn.
Oh, it's Maggie's turn.
Oh, sorry, Maggie. Right. Maggie, who was less than meets the eye to you?
I'm trying to find the name. I want to give it to the coalition who was going to nuke New York, like it's Escape from New York. Or is that the plot in Escape from New York? Are they going to nuke it? Or is that a Batman comic where they cut off New York and they're going to nuke it? I just don't understand nuclear option.
Well,
I mean, I guess, but can't you consider other things first?
Well, I imagine things were considered, but I mean, you're going to say, I can imagine a few various alternate darker than this one were in timeline, of course, in which people would, at the first opportunity to nuke the Western Hemisphere out of existence, they'd probably want to jump right on that.
I just feel like that's going to 11. Like
it's the European Crisis Coalition.
Thank you. Yes,
in Geneva,
the ECC.
Well, plus, I think the whole point was that was their last option because if.
But then they didn't do it, and at the last minute, they stopped themselves in a very dramatic moment of no, instead of nuking them to death, we'll fight differently.
We'll just hope that they
and hope that we win. So I'm going to give it to the ECC.
And that plan wasn't even going to work.
Right.
Because they already, because Galvatron already had the shields ready to just absorb all of the energy from the nuclear blast. So he wouldn't have cared less if the entirety of both continents were reduced to rubble. The Decepticons would have been absolutely okay, and then would have had the energy to wipe out the rest of the planet.
Well, yeah, in fact, they probably wanted it to happen because they said they were going to convert the radioactive whatever into energon so that they could further their evil plans.
Yep. I'll go slightly askew and give my lesson meets the eye to Galvatron in that, like, I don't think he didn't really help his case. Like, and what's crazy is he was so powerful it would not have mattered. But sure enough, on the back end of things, like the fact that he took out like his top lieutenant probably is a big deal. In that, like, he just unwittingly tilted the deck in the favor of the Autobots and the humans at that point, because like right now there's probably no Decepticon. I would probably imagine like when you have like a tyrant like that, you're too afraid to do anything. But once that tyrant's gone, you're like, okay, well, I can think again. I can do what I want. It's possible a lot of Decepticons were just like, we don't even want to fight anymore. We'll just leave. So like wound up costing them a planet because of a lot of his just absolutely reckless actions. Heck, you even had at one point, I'm not going to remember I think it was Wildfly. I think it was, but I might be wrong. But like basically like phased out a pretender shell and kind of said, in this way, all of us under the weight of Galvatron's insanity buried.
Yeah, that was cool.
When falls tonight's final darkness, another day will any of us see? Like, so like even he, like his own Decepticons were worried about what he was doing. So so like powerful leader, but not a good leader. So
John and I were talking about that actually, how going with the strongest is your leader method isn't generally the best way to go about it, because what good is your strength if you're nuts?
Well, that's what we already established with Grimlock earlier.
Yeah, Grimlock wasn't a very good leader either.
But we're seeing that in spades.
Although he was better than Galvatron.
Better than this Galvatron.
Definitely better than Galvatron.
Yeah, like in that he wasn't trying to completely destroy every Autobot in this place. Yeah. Well, in any event, great discussion, everyone. And I just wanted to mention, because even though we mentioned that Jose Delbo was the artist, like the art throughout was fantastic. Jose Delbo once again just delivered amazing quality work. So rest in peace, Jose. We love your stuff. Now it's time for overall ratings for the book. 1 to 10, y'all know the deal. Since I haven't gone first, I thought this was a really good story. Like, it was a one and done, but it's set. You got a sense of, from page 2 and 3 of how dystopian of a future it was, and that things probably were going to end very badly. And then Simon at the last minute just reminded us what we were here for, our present day, his story that he's gathering all of these people for. So really good table setter. And I can't even remember like what comes next necessarily. So I'm excited to see what's in the future, but this book alone, I'm going to give it a 9. I thought it was very, very good. Pat, what do you got? What do you think?
I think you said it the same way I would, Delvin. It's a 9. I can't, I don't know why I don't want to give it a 10. I guess I could, I'm going to give it a 10 just because of the double artwork in here as well, too. It set the mood for the story. So story a 9 and bump it up to a 10 for the artwork.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. Maggie, what do you rate it?
Yeah, I'd give it oh boy. I was coming at that with a lot of confidence and then I second guessed myself. I think 10 is appropriate. Honestly, I don't know why I think I'm overthinking this. It's a solidly good story. Like I said, it was an entertaining read. The art, you're right, is fantastic throughout, including the cover and then that 2-page, it's not a splash, but you know what I mean. It's just fantastic. So, yeah, and it was kind of a roller coaster. I think 10 is very fitting.
Okay, awesome. John closes out.
10. Because of everything everybody else already said, and everybody, I like this issue a lot. I'm excited about the next issues. Even if the next one is just as good and I give it a 10, I won't feel bad about giving this one a 10. A 10.
Well, Pat gave last issue a 10. He gave this one a 10 too. So I think we're all digging what Simon Furman is putting down here. And and it's cool seeing it now. I know, when, everything culminates in 75. So I'm like, okay, I'm seeing just the pieces of the puzzle, and it looks like we're going back to Earth next issue, and he's about to put some more elements into play on it. So things are looking up. This is shaping up to be a fantastic story. Okay, it's time for Transformers Spotlight, everybody. Where I'm going to give it to John, and John's going to talk about a particular Transformer that was featured in today's issue. All yours, John.
All right. Feels good to say thank you, Delvin. Bear with me while I pick up this gigantic tome that I'm going to have to crack on open here. If any of you listeners have to run to the bathroom or need to get a snack or something, you might want to pause it quick and do that. Because if you thought that the Delvin's last week went on for a while, this is one that there's just the continual and another thing. But anyway, here we are with Galvatron, everybody's favorite megalomaniacal upgraded version of Megatron, except when he isn't. Being a fan of any franchise requires the ability to juggle various canons and continuities, or at least the ability to keep the idea that there are different stories that don't have anything to do with each other across different media in your mind. And nobody knows this more than Transformers fans. I mean, we've lived in a flood of comic books, cartoons, and coloring books, choose your own adventure comics, other different movies that have nothing to do with the other ones. And they all treat each other as if they don't exist. And this has been the case since the very beginning. And it usually isn't too hard to do. The Transformers 1 continuity and the Marvel Comics continuity and the cassette tape story I got where Starscream talks like Cookie Monster. They're clearly different stories being told. It doesn't take too much to realize that these are different. But in general, in any case, when you're doing that, especially when there's a bunch of different writers involved, you will often come to a plot point or character that is used in a way that the result winds up confusing everyone to the extent that it becomes a symbol of how delightfully silly what it is, the fact that we try to make all of this real is. And nobody loves this better than I do. So, I mean, you've got like Wonder Girl or Hawkman in superhero comics are kind of the version of that where continuity. Our club gets Galvatron. This character is so confusing that he one time famously confuses himself. He will do this in a couple of months and we'll all laugh about it. If you have, let's start with a toy. This is where the mess begins. Here's what it said at the back of the box, which, by the way, my brother got for Christmas once. It was his best thing. I was supposed to get Rodimus Prime that year, but they were sold out. And from this spot in the future, even me, the biggest Rodimus Prime fan in the world, is confused by this. But I got Cup instead, and he's a way better toy. And Maggie eventually got me a newer, upgraded Rodimus Prime, which is my favorite.
I did do that.
But here's what Anthony from TFU.info has down about reprinted Galvatrons. Tech specs. His function is the detective or the Decepticon city commander. Keep that in mind. His motto is, "My power is everything, defeat is absurd." Galvatron is a cold-hearted robotic villain determined to lead the Decepticons. He possesses enough strength to pulverize an Autobot into scrap metal, unconquerable, arrogant and compassionless, plots against his allies, thus weakening his position. In robot mode, he carries a laser that emits chemically produced direct current electricity. His strength, now this is interesting, because I've seen this in other locations too. His strength is 9.5. It is, I don't know why we all know it's 9.5, but that's what we've all decided, because on the tech spec line, it is clearly between 9 and 10. His intelligence, similar also, 8.5. To my knowledge, this isn't really listed this way on any other toy. I could be way wrong on that, but His speed, 9. Endurance, 10. Rank, 9. Courage, 9. Firepower, 9. Skill, 10. As one of the Transformers Wiki's bigger underestimations states, Galvatron's mental state, personality, and origin differ considerably across many continuities. That's like saying that Protestants have a lot of denominations. That's the first place that Galvatron shows up outside of the Own Toy is in the Scramble City Japanese cartoon. We talked about that on one of the spotlights about one of the combiner groups. Look, I've done over 60 of these things. I can't remember which episode it was. So everybody just go back and listen to all of them, and you'll come across it eventually.
Good call, John.
Thanks. But in that one, like on the tech specs here, Galvatron was the Decepticon city commander. He was a different character than Megatron, who also appeared. Similar with, and Ultra Magnus was the Autobot city commander. And they were rolled out in the course of this to fight each other. Their stats are similar. They're clearly supposed to be set up to be the new second in commands. That's who they were kind of set up to be. No one's really sure if this, when the change happened, or when Rodimus was supposed to be put in, or whether or not this was a swerve they pulled on us or anything. In any case, when the movie comes out, everyone's expecting the same thing, but then instead we have what we know with Megatron getting damaged and being replaced and powered up by Unicron, in which we have Galvatron. And then after that, he receives more damage. The damage he receives at the end of that movie, in addition to stuff at the beginning of the first cartoon episode following, we wind up with a very mentally unstable Megatron who's constantly, attacking his own people and whatnot, acting a lot like this one. All right. If it had stopped right there, things would have been pretty easy to keep track of. It would have been, before that is that, after that is this. But then Simon Furman says, hey, you know what we really need in Transformers? Time travel. Enter the Transformers UK comic, in which Furman did a story arc, which still technically took place in the regular Marvel continuity. Those books, they take place in between issues. Generally, the Marvel series doesn't refer to them, but they refer to that. It's a weird vacuous space. But one of the most famous, and in my mind, the best story arc he writes is called Target 2006, and it involves Megatron time traveling from a spot in the movie. From a point in the movie, he decides to hedge his bet and transport himself in time. Winds up in the Marvel Comics continuity, at which point Ultra Magnus from that time, from Cybertron, gets an alert that he's there, flies to Earth, fights the Ultra Magnus from our time, fights Galvatron from the future on Earth, gets pretty much manhandled in a great issue that takes the entire battle. Or the battle takes the entire issue, I should say. Mm-hmm. But at which point, everyone's brought back to their own original times, and then that should have been the end of it. But then Galvatron traveled back in time a number of other times, too, and kind of stayed there. And then the UK continuity kind of petered out, and Simon came over here. Now, if it had stopped there, we still might have been able to keep track of this. But years later, Furman goes to IDW and winds up writing two separate comic book continuities. One of which sort of continues this. It goes on from a point in the future following the events in the G1 comic, ignores the events in the G2 comic, and actually has to retcon a number of it because he doesn't have the rights to a number of the characters. So in that one, Galvatron is also, he did Transformers IDW Phase 1, in which Galvatron is not only a completely different character than Megatron, but what went online millions of years before Megatron, and then got onto a ship along with Nova Prime and some other old folks. We're talking Cyclonus, Bludgeon, Jyaxis, Swerve for some reason, not Swerve, Tailgate for some reason. They went onto a ship called the Ark, later the Ark Mark 1, And it got sucked into a place called the Dead Universe for millions of years until they were able to escape later into the then present time where Megatron was. So Megatron and Galvatron are two separate characters there. Galvatron's personality there is absolutely nothing like anything there. He's not like either Megatron's or Galvatron here. He's his own thing in which he has his own level of conquering thing. The thing is he's not really distinct enough from Megatron that I could tell you how he's different. The problem with the way that it gets really messed up in my mind and some others is that once Simon is writing these comics here, the fact that he wrote two separate storylines that are in two different continuities, they both feature Hot Rod prominently in a similar role, and artists cross over on both. So sometimes it's incredibly difficult if you see Galvatron in any given IDW thing, and then try to work yourself back as to what Galvatron this is. Not to mention this Galvatron in this issue today, which in order to keep things much more confusing is referred to as Galvatron 2. Because as we see going forward, I haven't even gotten to tell you about the level of confusing things that are going to happen once he goes into the current continuity and meets some people and such. And the last bit of confusion, as I said, is the coloring of the character, and I can't even blame this on Nel Yomtov. The toy is gray with purple trim, and that's how he's usually colored. And that's how he's usually colored in the Marvel comics, but is purple with gray trim pretty much everywhere else in the cartoons, IDWs. Anyway, that's Galvatron. It's good to be back. Maybe next time I'm gonna do something simpler, like the history of the Cimmerals and Tolkien, or the Book of Maccabees, or something less intricate like that. Anyway.
Okay, I'm going to go dunk my head in some cold water, and we're going to go to a promo break.
Maggie had a question, I think, before you...
Well, no, it's just that this guy's face looks a lot like Megatron's face, and that was on purpose then. Galvatron's face kind of reminded me of Megatron's face.
Yeah, this one.
Toothy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this one was supposed to be Megatron. You know what? I'm not even going to try and explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, promo break it is. Let's go.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Dr. Issues.
And we're the hosts of Capes on the Couch, the podcast where comics get counseling.
Superheroes don't always get to go home happy. That's where we come in.
We offer psychiatric and mental health evaluation of comic book characters.
We also chat with some of your favorite creators,
Al Ewing,
Erica Schultz,
Gail Simone,
Philip Kennedy Johnson,
Chris Claremont,
about their work on comics.
So check out all our episodes at capesonthecouch.com and follow us at Capes on the Couch on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hashtag
because comics.
We now return to the Transformers.
Now it's time for transmissions, where we heap praise upon the audience for listening to us. Thank you all. We're going to talk about Transformers 64, where we're going to talk about Transformers Chronicles episode 64, where we discussed Transformers issue 64. And we will start with social media shares and retweets from Kirk Spencer,
G.I. Gary,
Bradley Douglas Dello,
Matt Passo,
Jim Meal,
Alan E. Boyce Jr.,
and Helica Fetty Wolf.
Ooh.
Rick Heineken,
Christopher Willett,
Derek William Crabb,
Clinton Robinson.
Hi, Clinton.
Aaron Head Moss,
Richard Ayers,
Mike Ficklin,
J.D. Bracey,
Zeb Oswald,
Carlos Alejandro,
and Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist.
We had a couple of comments from the episode too. John, you want to take one of those?
Yeah, G.I. Gary said, great show as always. Must agree that this issue left me with a more positive impression than my senior year reading of Moby Dick. Glad we skipped the chapter online.
Pat, you want to read the one from Kevin?
Sure. Kevin Clark says, I remember the letters column in response to this issue. Someone asked, what does Transformers have to do with Moby Dick? The response was, more or less, beats me.
It's a story on Planet Pequod. What do you want? There was one more comment. It was a Spotify comment, and it was from longtime listeners to the show, Peter Pelletier. Thank you so much, Pete, for your Spotify comment. Again, we love to read your Spotify comments. We are glad that we have a following there, too. He says, You can tell John that in New Bedford, Massachusetts, Cheap Pop, Moby Dick is required reading in high school, and there is a yearly reading marathon of the novel in January in both English and Portuguese at the New Bedford, wait for it, Whaling Museum.
I have been to New Bedford, Massachusetts, and have seen a sign advertising the New Bedford Whaling Museum. And I remember asking, is there any way we could at least drive by? I want to see what it looks like. And they said no. And so I got to see neither that nor apparently Peter Pelletier. So sorry I missed you there, buddy. Had I seen you, we wouldn't have known each other. But, that's really cool. I'm very sorry that everybody there has to read Moby Dick over and over again because it's not pleasant.
What? Does New Bedford, Massachusetts have anything to do with Moby Dick?
Well,
does it take place in New Bedford?
If they have a whaling museum.
Well, I suppose it just follows, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah. I think, know what I was going to say? I have no idea where Moby Dick took place because I'd never read Moby Dick.
In the ocean.
In the ocean, primarily. Yeah, but I think it's England, isn't it?
In England, I believe.
My guess was England, but I didn't know where in England. You know what? We'll just, maybe somebody will comment and tell us where the heck Moby Dick took place. I could Google it. AI helps with things like that, and I flat out refuse to. If we happen to miss a few, we apologize. It's a good problem to have, but we don't want to forget anyone. Ping us on Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, even Blue Sky. We'll correct it next issue. Ladies, gentlemen, robots, that is the show. Please come back and join us for the next episode where we discuss Transformers issue 68, where we get back to our timeline and we get to see some familiar humans jumping into the fray again. If you'd like to hear more from us, Longbox Crusade, we're all over the place. Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. Look up Longbox Crusade. You'll find us. We're anywhere you could find podcasts. To include Google Play and Spotify. We have a Patreon account, Longbox Crusade, for $1 a month, YouTube channel for Longbox Crusade as well. We got live content and recorded content there. And just as a separate mention, you can subscribe to Transformers Chronicles by itself. If you did not want to subscribe to all of the other stuff that's on the Longbox Crusade feed, and there is a lot, and by the way, it's all good. We would love it if you did consume all of the product, but if you just wanted Transformers Chronicles, you can just go out and look in Podcatcher Land and find it. There's even a voicemail. You can leave us voicemail comments on 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone. Man, I'm in actual choir now. I could have done better than that, but that was pretty bad. Sorry, guys.
I've heard worse. John, let us know, and Maggie, you can chime in, obviously, of course, too, where y'all can be found on social medias.
I can't be.
I'm on Blue Sky. Base is about it. MWC podcast. At Blue Sky's best way to find us right now. If we ever do any recording again, we'll surely let you know here first. But the best place to find us is here, except for the weeks when months that we're not here. But the ones we are, that's where you can find us. Also, or marriedwcomics at gmail.com if you want us directly, or look for Jonathan Schaefer Hames or Married with Comics on Facebook. Also, Herman Melville was American. It was an American novel.
Oh, I always think that
it was published.
Some of our great authors are British.
England,
Yeah. All right.
And also,
Ishmael.
That's true. Also, the depending. Actually, never mind. That's where we are.
Okay,
Pat.
Well, Jonathan, I'm glad you asked. You can find me on the X at Christatos01. Delvin, where can you be found?
Let's see, Blue Sky, DEERAY1977, Threads and Instagram at Delvin Ray. See you all next time. And remember, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. So all are one.
Till all are one.
See, that also was nice. Three voices together. Till all are one. See y'all next time, everybody.
Yeah. All songs, song clips, and characters discussed are copyright of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended, and it is for entertainment purposes only. We are just fans that like to share our love of comics.